foundation of modern Australian coinage. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. The value of a coin isn't just about its age or mintage. It depends heavily on how well it has survived over the years. The 1981 Australian 50-cent coin was minted in millions, which means that most examples you'll find today have been used in circulation for decades. As a result, many coins are worn, scratched, or dull. But collectors look at different grades or levels of condition. To determine how valuable a coin might be, here's a breakdown of the grading scale commonly applied to the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin. In short, most 1981 Australian 50-cent coins in circulation are only worth face value ***, but higher grades, especially uncirculated, proof, or error coins, can be much more valuable and desirable to collectors. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Old Charles. Today we're diving deep into the history, design, and value of the United States half-dollar from 1974. This coin, also known as the Kennedy half-dollar, is one of the most recognized and widely collected coins in America. If you own one of these coins, you'll definitely want to watch this video until the end because we'll talk about its history, its features, its condition, and of course, its current market value in both circulated and uncirculated grades. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, right after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. Americans were eager to honor the late president, and so the half-dollar became the coin chosen to carry his image. The first coins struck in 1964 were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, but after 1965, the U.S. Mint reduced the silver content to just 40% silver until 1970. By 1971, the coin's composition changed entirely to a copper-nickel-clad coin, with no silver at all for circulation. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is part of this copper-nickel-clad series. Millions were produced, which makes it a very common coin in circulation. However, certain variations and high-grade examples are still collectible today. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features a portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. It shows a left-facing profile of Kennedy with the word Liberty around the rim and the motto "I in God, we trust" split beneath his chin. At the bottom, you'll see the date. 1974. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, displays the presidential seal, an eagle with a shield, holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and strength. Around the eagle are 50 stars, representing the states of the Union, with the words United States of America and half-dollar clearly inscribed. The 1974 half-dollar was minted at 3 different locations: San Francisco, Mint Mark. These were proof coins specially struck for collectors, with over 2.6 million proof coins made. One interesting note for collectors: while the 1974 half-dollar doesn't have major errors like some other years, there are varieties worth looking for, including double die obverse where the date and lettering appears slightly doubled. Now let's talk about the part many of you have been waiting for: the value in circulated condition. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is generally worth its face value of 50 cents because so many were minted. However, collectors pay extra for coins in uncirculated or proof condition. A typical circulated 1974 half-dollar is worth 50 cents to $1. An uncirculated 1974 half-dollar can be worth $3 to $10, depending on its condition. The 1974 Denver Mint, in very high grade, such as MS-66 or MS-67, can bring values of $50 to over $200 at auctions. The 1974 proof half-dollar, especially those with deep cameo contrast, can range from $10 to $50 with pristine examples going higher. Collectors mainly look for high-grade coins, proof strikes, and error coins, which can push the value much higher than average. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1974 half-dollar that's been in circulation will show wear on Kennedy's hair, cheek, and jawline, as well as on the eagle's wings on the reverse. Uncirculated examples, also known as mint state (MS) coins, will have full details, luster, and no signs of wear, only minor bag marks from the minting process. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can certify coins in high grades, which adds significant value for collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco are also special, as they were struck with polished dies on special planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish. These proof coins, especially the ones with deep cameo, are highly desirable among collectors. So, while the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar may not make you instantly rich, it's still a fascinating piece of American history. It represents the nation's ongoing tribute to President Kennedy and carries the story of U.S. coinage changes in the 1970s. If you happen to have one, check its condition, look for mint marks, and if it looks especially sharp, it might be worth sending it for grading. Who knows? You could be holding a piece worth far more than 50 cents. The Kennedy half-dollar has one of the most emotional beginnings of any U.S. coin. It was created as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in November 1963. Americans wanted a permanent way to honor him, and the U.S. Mint moved quickly to redesign the half-dollar. In 1964, just a few months after his death, the first Kennedy half-dollars were struck. These were made of 90% silver, which made them not just a memorial, but also a valuable coin. Millions of people hoarded them, both because of Kennedy's popularity and their silver content. From 1965 to 1970, the coins were changed to 40% silver to cut down costs. But starting in 1971, silver was completely removed from circulation coins, and the half-dollar became a copper-nickel-clad coin. This is the same material used in quarters and dimes today. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar falls into this clad era. It was mass-produced, with hundreds of millions minted at Philadelphia and Denver, plus special proofs from San Francisco. The coin kept the same beloved design. Obverse President Kennedy's portrait, designed by Gilroy Roberts, reversed the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparo. By the 1970s, however, the half-dollar was already losing its place in everyday commerce. People rarely used them in shops, preferring quarters and dollar bills. As a result, many 1974 half-dollars went straight into banks, collections, or proof sets rather than circulation. Even though it wasn't widely spent, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar carries the story of America in the post-silver era. It reflects the economic changes of the U.S. Mint, the fading everyday use of the half-dollar, and the lasting respect for President Kennedy. When it comes to coins, condition is everything. A 1974 half-dollar may be very common in circulation, but its value and collectability change drastically depending on how well it has been preserved over the years. Let's break it down. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can officially grade coins, and certified high-grade examples sell for much more than raw, ungraded ones. The majority of 1974 half-dollars are only worth face value if circulated, but coins in pristine mint state or proof condition are highly desirable. Among collectors, the rarer the grade, the higher the value.